tough game to swallow. And I think everybody would like to point and say, it's this play or that play. But there's plays all over the field. And, as a coach, you go back and watch the tape and you see even more and more and more of just like, wow, we really did give it away. And, again, we can point to the penalties. We can point to, a slide. We can point to some, just crappy coverage. In that, last 40 seconds, I guess. In the second 2 minute that our defense was involved in that, you didn't want to be involved in on a short field again, which puts the defense in a rough spot. But, with a 21-yard penalty and a 32-yard punt, instead of starting at the 50, they could have started at their own minus 21 if they put the numbers together, which I have. So it was just a rough night. I mean, you take the first, second, third quarter out of it, and just really what happened in that fourth quarter, just not something I've been accustomed to. Usually at Pitt we finish, and again our guys gave great effort. There was no lack of effort out there. It was just I don't know if it was focus or what, but we just didn't play like we should play, not like a Pitt football team. Continue to be disappointed in the way we rush, stop the rush, stop the run. And I reminded our defense last week, in the last 3 years, I guess, we've been spoiled. We've been number one in the ACC in rushing and in the top 10 in rushing defense, and we're at 6th right now, I believe. But that's like a far, far, difference from what we've been at. And that's, I guess, some of the frustrations I have defensively. And then offensively, we were two-dimensional. I wish we'd rushed for more than, what we rushed for, but, throw for 300 yards. We just had drive killers that, we could rush for 200 if we block better and get to the right guy and do the right thing. And there's times we're not doing that, which is stop and runs. It's stop and runs on 4th and 1. But the drive killers are whether it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 4, you don't get it, or you don't block the right guy on a certain run play. It doesn't get the run game going. So those are some of the frustrations, really, both having to do with the run game, not the pass game. That's kind of where it is. But just lack consistency across the board. Lack consistency in our punting. We can point to that. I mean, there's plays all over the place. It's not just the slide or the penalties. It's like they're all over the place. It's not just. And again, that's why it's a team game. That's why it's played in 4 quarters. Not we just go play the last 2 minutes of the game and see who wins. It's all over the place the entire game that we got to continue to get better. And I think we are getting better. We certainly didn't show it maybe Saturday. Questions?
Pat, do you think maybe the slide rule should be reviewed, considering that the Florida State game, Jordan Travis was farther from the first-time marker than Christian was, and they gave him the first time?
I think so. I mean, first of all, the slide rule is to protect the quarterback, okay? And quarterback's trying to protect himself. It's not for an official to determine when he started the slide and all that stuff. And it would have been nice if the officials would go and look in the little TV there and go, okay, let's be sensible here. The kid was being smart. He wanted to stay in bounds. So I give him that, and wish he'd take a couple more steps or whatever. And but it is what it is. And to me, it's still a first down. But it's over.
You said you felt like you made a rookie mistake and not diving for it. Did you look back? When you look back at it, do you think that it was just kind of like, hey, that's what most quarterbacks would do? That's
what most quarterbacks would do. And talking, and again, I'm no quarterback guru. And Coach Signetti brought up a good point. I said, can't he just dive forward instead of backwards? That's when fumbles happen. I was like, well, you're probably right. I mean, the other thing would have been worse is him diving forward and the ball goes on the ground. So you see most quarterbacks are going to slide feet first. Bostic, true or false, Bostic? He never ran that far. He couldn't get to the sticks, so it didn't matter. But there's just like I said, there's different things. And again, he was being smart. He did it the way he was supposed to be. He thought he was clearly beyond the line, and it looked like he was. So we'll just leave it as it is. There's a lot of other plays out there.
You guys had 13 penalties for 100 yards, but now beyond just this game, you guys have the most penalties, the most penalty yards in the ACC. What do you guys have to do as coaches and your players to fix that?
Sometimes you feel hated on, okay? And I don't share these with you. I don't share these with you weekly about what goes into the ACC office, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to talk about what comes back, but sometimes you feel like you're, it just needs to be called both ways, and sometimes you feel like it's not as a coach. But I'll just talk about our penalties. I brought a sheet in here just because we talk about it all the time. Defensively, we had 4 aggressive penalties and 2 selfish. You guys know what we call it selfish penalties, when it's just like about it's just not good, selfish. The two by, Donovan, who's apologized 10 times to me since the end of the game. He's crying after the game. I mean, he didn't mean to do it. He was, just pulling a guy off the pile, and it was a penalty, what he did. I don't know if the second one was real. It looked like, someone, threw a shoulder into him, but like I'm not the official, players play, coaches coach, and officials officiate. We had 3 defensive holdings, which, again, to me, it's a go both ways. I just, I don't know how to officiate it. I don't know how to coach anymore, I guess. And we had a face mask. Offensively, we had 5 false starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 false starts. Again, one is, one, we weren't going to run a play on 4th down and 5, okay? But a receiver covered up the tight end. Tight end has hand down. Not worried about that one. That one, you can throw that out. And the penalty yards, we're going to punt it. And we were taking a delay game anyway. We're going to try to get them to jump off sides. We had, 3 offensive tackles go off sides. 2 young guys, you got to be better there. And then we had, a quarterback's got to wait for a receiver to get set up before, to lined up on a quick, we call it, I won't tell you what it's called, but we come out of the huddle quick, get lined up and run the play. It's on really the quarterback not letting the receiver get lined up fast enough. And then, we took a delay game on defense to punt the ball, or on punt, just to back it up. We weren't going to snap it, and we ate up 25, 30 seconds off the clock that play. And we had, a guy at a new position line up off the line of scrimmage on our field goal team. So they're unforced, they're unfortunate, and then there's some, aggressive ones, which we're going to be aggressive. I just never seen so many of them. So I don't know what else to tell you.
How do you coach your players to fight through, to stay focused? If that's the case, you feel like you're not getting both ways in those calls. How do you coach them to stay focused despite those moments?
Well, I think that's what they've done. I mean, and again, you can't get emotional like Donovan did, and it's an emotional game, and he's trying to protect MJ. Like, it's like just stay away. But besides the emotional one there on one play, which cost us 21 yards. You just got to keep your cool and play ball. I don't think our guys get emotional when it happens to them. I mean, you go back and watch A.J. Woods. I mean, he's on there. It's a tiny little tug, and the guy is jamming. And supposedly, when you lock your arm out, it's supposed to be called as offensive pass interference, but it doesn't get called. So I don't know, But when someone's pushing me off, I'm grabbing on, to, for dear life too. So,
Does it bother you that all this is happening in the 7th game of the season?
Bothers me when it happens in the first game and the 7th game. It'll bother me even more because the last time I was in Notre Dame, it happened in the whatever game, on a post in middle field. So it bothers me every game.
You figure by now some of these penalties?
You hope so, but every game's a different game on the road, and different stuff is happening to you. People are stemming. I mean, they got a guy clapping on the we're trying to punt the ball and we clap. Cadence, it's supposed to be a violation. Go back and watch their linebacker 45's clapping. There's no call. I don't know why, but just luck of the draw, I guess.
Overall, how would you evaluate Christian's performance, slide aside?
Christian, I thought, played a pretty solid game. I mean, he took what the defense was giving him. He made some nice throws. He had a couple where we'd say, mentally, don't go there, go there. A couple of those, which I don't know if a quarterback's ever gone through a game and had ones where he didn't have a couple of those. But I think, he got better from the first game to the second game. I mean, he started off, I don't know what it was, 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 or whatever it was. I mean, he was on fire. They changed some stuff up, but he made plays when he needed to. And again, we got to convert more first downs. I mean, I think we had 3 and outs this past weekend. The week before, does anybody remember how many we had? 7. I remember. So, when you look at stuff like that, we're moving. We won the time possession. The week before we didn't. We got crushed with it because you're going 3 and out 7 times. You're not gonna. You're gonna struggle that way. So they're getting better little by little, and you like to eliminate. It's penalties. It's a messed up coverage. Not executing it properly. It's and not blocking the run game. And there's, like I said, there's stuff everywhere. I'm, sitting there trying to plug holes everywhere, and that's kind of where we are right now at this point.
And obviously, you'll be challenged by Notre Dame. What can you do defensively? Is it personnel changes or to improve that rush game quickly?
Maybe. We're looking at everything, but every offense gives you a little bit different. And again, give Wade credit. They did some different things, that we really didn't prepare for. They lined up in the pistol more than we've seen them. New quarterback. they did some things different that we didn't practice as much for. We practiced a little bit more of other things that, they didn't do, and we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. Didn't really know there was an even issue with their starting quarterback. So prepared for him, and then had really a totally different guy in there. And again, they switched the run game up a little bit, but we got to execute. And again, we haven't forgot how to coach defense and how to stop the run. Okay, it's what we do. It's like I said, we got to coach better. We got to get it out of them, and they got to learn better and execute better. And that's what it comes down to.
Jake came in that second half. It seemed like he was playing the guard. Terrence still the center. What do you like about that order?
We'll look at it. I mean, Jake was back and Blake was back, so we had really 4 guards that played for us, and just trying to find the best combination now. I think they're all back, healthy, or at least close to being healthy right now. So I can't tell you I like anything yet, but we'll keep looking.
From what you've seen of Sam Hartman.
Hey, we protected the quarterback too. How many sacks did we give up? 0. That's that's big time.
From what you've seen from Sam Hartman this year, how has he evolved as a passer since the last time you saw him, which I believe was the ACC championship in 21?
Yeah, obviously totally different offense. He's in a pro-style offense. He's actually huddling up and taking snaps under center. So you've seen him progress to more of a, if he's going to play in the NFL, it's going to have to be in that type of offense, not what they're doing at Wake Forest. So, I think he's probably enjoying it just because, I think it's every, childhood kid's dream to play in the National Football League, and he's going to have an opportunity just by being able to, make run checks, sit underneath the center, and do all the things that they ask him to do there. I think he'll have obviously a better opportunity, in that atmosphere and circumstances. So, he throws the ball well. I mean, he's a calm guy. He can run. He can scramble. He's still a great athlete. So you don't see anything abnormal there. Again, we haven't really talked Notre Dame, so we'll get into Notre Dame. Obviously, Marcus Freeman's done an outstanding job here, I think, in his second season, and they got a talented team. When you put the tape on, you watch those. Shiny gold helmets, and they fly around and they look good. They're probably as good a looking team as you're going to walk out on game day and see. And they play fast. All the receivers look like tight ends. They wear 80s numbers too, which disguise them. You're not sure how many tight ends there's. They play with 4 tight ends at times in formations, and they'll go all the way to play with 4 wideouts. Tailbacks are athletic, and you got Hartman. And defensively, Al Golden's running the defense. You guys know Al from back in Miami. Was in the league for a while, but great coach has done a great job with their defense. And again, 4 down, they're all physical, they're all fast. I can't sit there and focus on one guy because there's 11 of them. They're as talented, a football team as you're going to face out there. So we'll have our hands full. Have a lot of guys on that staff that I know. Start with Mike Mickens, coach at corner. You guys saw him. So it'd be a nice little reunion there. Max Bulla, one of our linebackers, is there on that staff as well. And Gino Gaduli, old Cincinnati quarterback, is quarterback coach. So there's some familiarity with their staff as well. And it'll be a great challenge for our guys to go into South Bend. I think they're fired up last night to close the chapter and move on.
You got Sebo and Rodney listed as co-starters on the depth chart in that city.
Sebo's been playing well the last couple of weeks, again, he's also helping lead our football team as far as just being a leader. I think he's stepped up with the absence of a Matt Gonsalves. He's become a really kind of got some natural leadership skills to him. Our guys have really bought into what he's all about. He plays his tail off. I mean, he'll be on any special team, so he's played hard. Rodney didn't start, but Rodney, he's good too. We like them both. We go with your hot hand, and I think even late in the game, Coach Powell tried to put Rodney in the game, and he's like, Coach, he's hot, let him go. It was kind of like, whoa. I was kind of shocked by that. Kind of an unselfish move by him, but I would have liked to got him more snaps the other day because I think he's special as well. So we'll just, we're going to play the hot guy, and maybe Rodney rushes for 150 this week.
It seems like it's been favoring Sebo for a few weeks, though. Is it just? It's just been the hot hand for the last 3
Yeah,
4 games.
I mean, it's like anybody in the country. I mean, Notre Dame plays 4 tailbacks. I mean, they play 4 of them, and they all got 20-some plus snaps at tailback, and they got 2 really that you're getting the majority of them. And I don't think we're different anyway. You want to get your tailbacks reps. You want to make them all feel comfortable. They all can be they're all ball players. You never know if you have one tailback that's getting 200 snaps and the other guy gets 3, and all of a sudden the first guy gets hurt. You got this guy's never rushed the ball before. We won't have that problem. So I think that, it's a natural thing. But you're going to play who's hot, who's blocking well, and who you feel comfortable with, based on the flow of the game.
Has Sebo shown you and your staff the stuff that you expected out of him when you were looking at him out of the portal last year, or has he grown more?
He's gotten better. I mean, I think he's obviously grown up a lot on and off the field. But yeah, he's doing what we thought he could do. I mean, but he had a motor last year, so I can't. It's just he understands the offense more now. I think he's more comfortable, just like anybody would be in their second year of a new offense. It's totally different from what they were doing at the other place. So, he's done a nice job. I'm impressed. And like I said, you're never going to question that guy's effort. He has got a motor, as good a motor as anybody on our football team.
Maybe I'm wrong. Did Lovelace and Lewis didn't make the trip to linebackers?
Yeah.
Can you tell us why?
Banged up. Not out for the year. Who else did you say? Kyle Lewis and who else?
Was Lewis there?
Lewis was not there. And then, we lost Solomon DeShields in the first half. And I tell you what, Jordan Bass for a freshman in base defense, and I didn't really realize, when you think about how, your third down package, we weren't very good on third down, and poor Jordan Bass is starting on that team too. I didn't take into account the effect there, but we had a lot of walkthroughs in fall camp. There wasn't one walkthrough that Jordan Bass spent in third down at all, because it's like, that's way too much. Let's just get you to be good with your base defense. But Jordan Bass played well. I was impressed with him for his first game. He's only going to get better. We got to get Biles going this week as well, I think. But Jordan Bass, for playing 4 plays last week on defense, and then having 51 plays on defense, it's way too many. But that's kind of what we were under, and it cost us at the end of the game too. It wasn't necessarily his fault, but I would have hoped we would have adjusted a little bit better than what we did. But you play with young guys. Sometimes they're not going to be perfect. They're not even close to perfect. Our guys that played for 4 and 5 years aren't perfect. But I was impressed with the way Jordan Bass played, pulled the trigger, and made plays.
Jordan and Rasheed kind of expect some more playing time moving forward.
There's no question about it. I mean, Jordan's going to get more playing time, period. He's only going to keep getting better. And just based on injuries, we got to get Biles ready to go as well.
Back on Christian, I think he's 10 of 14 for over 130 yards and a touchdown on third downs. His ability to stretch the field with his arm seemed to give you guys extra boost in your passing game. Has his success maybe forced you guys to reevaluate different concepts or different things that you might call with more frequency to open that up more and give your receivers more chance?
No question about it. You say that. Our receivers are catching the ball well too. I mean, they're catching the football. There's no question about it. We're going to take what Notre Dame is going to give you, or the next opponent after that's going to give you. But we got confidence that that he can throw the ball, and he's getting it out quick. And like I said, he's going to keep getting better every week, I think.